Alright, what's going on guys, it's Gonzo, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Season 2 will be coming out on the 28th of January, which is in a couple days, and just yesterday, Call of Duty released a blog breaking down the update, and which I've already gone through it, so that I can find topics that the Call of Duty community has been talking about these past several weeks during Season 1, so let's get to it. So the first thing, this is the main topics that they're talking about in this blog, which is cheating and bans, ability to disable crossplay on consoles and rank play, which is huge if you're a console player, server issues, quality of life updates, and bug fixes. So let's get into it. So this is just yapping. This is just explaining them that they're gonna fix their ricocheted anti-cheat team. We're not going to go through all that. That's like a whole book right there. So if you have been experiencing crashes, they are working on that. And to be honest, whenever I was on console, I'm on PC now, but I've been on console my whole life, and I've never experienced crashes like this from PC. And I honestly think it's just PC. I'm pretty sure console players are not getting as much crashes as PC players, but I don't know. So this is the update on the voice chat, which is kind of funny. I want y'all to read this right here. I think this is right here. It says players should have the freedom to trash talk, and we're constantly working with our teams to make sure moderation is solely targeting conversations that veer into derogatory territory. So basically, they're still trying to allow us to trash talk, but they're just trying to block out, you know, like bad things like the F word and the G word, and you know what I mean. I'm not gonna say it, but they're just trying to block out those words, and they're trying to allow us to still trash talk, which is good news, you know. And they even said trash talk, so it's pretty funny to see that Call of Duty is putting that in their blog. I like to see that. This is really huge. This is for global. This is for the whole game. So they're reducing the collision with teammates to improve maneuverability around tight spaces and doorways with nearby teammates. And me and you, I know, have experienced you bumping into your teammates and them moving you back, or you moving your teammates back, which is insane how that is like implemented in the game. So they reduced the collision with teammates, and I bet they just added that to make it like more realism. But I mean, it's not like, come on, it's a video game, dude. I don't want to be bumping into my teammates. But they reduced it, so that's very, very good news. I'm really excited to experience that, because I've experienced bumping into a lot of people, or people getting in my way, and I'll literally be like, get out of my way! And I'm like, dude, come on. All right, moving on to multiplayer. So they're updating bullet penetration updates. Further reducing weapon motion while jumping, sliding, and diving with the dexterity perk equipped. So if you're a dexterity perk user, that's good news for you. So if you're a war car user, which is basically a fielder upgrade, the one that you have to get those 2 bars and then you like the fire flares come out of them. So there now, when you have that activated, you're gonna have a little icon on top of your head to alert players that you are running faster and that you're regaining health faster, which is kind of crazy. Y'all getting a nerf. I don't use the nerf. I don't use the war cry. I think I just use trophy systems and scramblers, which I use scramblers just to be annoying, because when people use them, I'm annoyed. Playlist changes right here. They're bringing back gunfight. I never really played gunfight, so if you like gunfight, good news for you. They're keeping stakeout 24/7 in a featured playlist, which is pretty cool. Okay, this one I have experienced myself. Free for all will accurately calculate the scoreboard by kills, and the winner circle will accurately showcase the top 3 free for all players, which before they didn't count that. They were counting eliminations plus kills, and the scoreboard was all messed up. It wasn't like the original free for all scoreboard. So now they fixed that, so that's good news. Now this is the big update that I bet a lot of console players are freaking drooling over. So now in Season 2, they are enabling the ability to disable crossplay for console players who want to compete only against other console players, which is huge because they didn't have that before. And then they're basically just talking about that is a new feature, and they're going to be working on it, and they're going to be monitoring closer and making sure if they need to change anything or else. But that's really good news. And then they're also adding the vote to forfeit the match if you're getting smoked. It even says it right here. It says getting blown out or if you lost a teammate, of course, then your team can agree to forfeit the match. And they're also adding the ability to rejoin the ranked match. If you happen to disconnect from your Wi-Fi, you can log back in and then rejoin the match. And then they're adding new rewards to rank play. They have camos for gold rank and up. They got a Jackal PDW blueprint for 10 wins. And then they have a large decal for 100 wins, which is funny to me because 100 wins and you, congratulations, we're going to give you a large decal that we probably didn't even make ourselves. It's probably some kind of AI that everybody's been talking about Call of Duty using, which is crazy. 100 wins. It's not 100 games played. It's 100 wins. You can lose 100 games, win 50, and you still got to win 50 more to get this large decal, which is insane to me. But I don't play ranked, so moving on. So zombies, good news for zombie players. They're kind of pushing y'all forward and they're making sure that they show y'all love. On the day of season 2, they're releasing a new zombie map right off the first day. So that's really cool. And then they're allowing co-op pause. So if you're playing with 4 people and the host wants to pause the game, he can pause the game for everybody in the game. They're also adding AFK kick loadout recovery, which basically if you get kicked out while playing a co-op zombie game, you can come back and then you can join and then you have everything that you had right before you just left or got kicked out or disconnected, whatever. All right, moving on to the last one, Warzone update. So this is all just yapping, yap says, but Warzone has insane updates. Look at this. So reload speeds are faster for all weapons, anywhere from 5% to 20% depending on the weapon class, of course. Now they're reducing the penalty when sprint to fire jumping from 35% to 10%. And increase jump ADS speeds by 25%. ADS basically means aim downside speeds by 25%, which is insane. So you're going to see a lot more people bunny hopping in the game because it's going to be so much more smoother. Because I did notice that in Black Ops 6 that whenever you jump, you're definitely way more slowed than if you would just be sprinting towards your enemy. They're adjusting the bullet penetration across most materials, resulting in a more consistent experience for thicker walls in particular. I have experienced this myself where I would be right behind a thick wall and, you know, I would expect no one can shoot through it, but they literally shoot right through it. So they fixed that. So if you're by a wall that looks pretty thick, they shouldn't be able to shoot through it. And then weapon swap speed increased by 10%, effectively replicating the effect of the quick grip gloves perk from Modern Warfare. This is pretty huge also. They are removing burst and semi-auto rifles and low rarity pistols from ground loot, allowing for more confidence in knowing how your weapon will fire when you pick it up. It's so funny to me how they're writing this because they're basically just saying like, some people are noobs and we're just basically increasing the ground loot to better guns so that you know where your weapon is when you fire and pick it up. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to movement in Warzone, they're increasing the both jump speed and successful jump height with one unmodified successful jump. And then they're increasing the speed of the parachute cut animation, making cutting a parachute and readying your weapon significantly faster, which is insane because I honestly think it's pretty fast right now when you cut your parachute and you get your gun ready. But now that it's faster, oof, man. And then on top of that, they're increasing the player velocity when landing from a cut parachute land for smoother transition into full sprint. So you know how when you're about to land with your parachute and then you cut it so that you can land on the ground without the parachute, they're increasing that from you jumping from the ground to getting to a sprint to fire speed position, which is insane, man. All right, moving on to audio in Warzone. They're improving the directionality of movement audio produced by other players, footsteps, ascenders, and parachutes, which honestly, I thought that the audio was okay in Warzone. So now that they're increasing it even more, I'm excited to experience that myself. All right, moving on to Warzone perks. So they're getting rid of the dexterity perk and instead they're giving it to all Warzone players. Plus on top of that, they're buffing up the effectiveness. And if you don't know what dexterity is, it's basically it reduces the weapon motion while jumping, sliding, and I'm not sure if I'm missing one, but I think there's one more. And now that they're releasing dexterity, they're going to replace that perk with the Mountaineer perk, which basically reduces fall damage. All right, moving on to equipment and kill streaks in Warzone. So the munition satchel will now only provide one additional item down to 2. And they're trying to address overstocking and spamming equipment. And I'm pretty sure they're talking about gas grenades because I've seen so many clips of people abusing gas grenades. And on top of gas grenades, they're nerfing the gas grenade duration and the movement penalties reduced to bring in line with the vision of zoning tactical and less of a lethal crutch. And I love that because I don't want people to be abusing. I don't want gas grenades to be the meta in ranked Warzone. I don't want to see clips where people are literally throwing 4 gas grenades at some guy and making him get out of his building or whatever. And you know, just abusing that. It's not fun to watch. And then advanced UAVs will now show elevation arrows. I'm not sure what an elevation arrow looks like. If you know, you know, but they're changing that about advanced UAVs. All right, moving on to body shield. So basically, whenever you go behind somebody and you double tap your nunchuck, or if your PC, I don't know what the button is, but you cannot see the players through the walls now. That's a new update that they put through. And then they've removed manual release of players, so you can't release them. You either have to kill them or finish them off. Now this is really big in Warzone. The flares that fire out of buy station when you buy somebody back, the enemy team can ping that flare that comes from the sky, which is crazy. And then they got bug fixes here. I'm not really interested in that, so I don't think y'all are interested in that. And then rank play we already talked about. And then them just talking about looking ahead. So that's pretty much it for Season 2 on the 28th of January. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch y'all later.